Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of We Listen and We Judge. We just want to start off by saying happy March and happy Women's History Month. So, with us being two women with the podcast, we want to definitely highlight some important women and some so important facts about women's history. And that episode will be coming later in the month. But today we are going to talk about superstitions. And I came up with this conversation because I was literally frantically in Walmart looking for black eyed peas. I'm like, at the beginning of the year, I'm like, where's the black eyed peas? I waited to the last minute and I'm trying to tell my significant other, hey, we got to get some black eyed peas. We got to get some black eyed peas. He was like, why do we need black eyed peas? And I'm like, we just got to get them. I couldn't even really explain why we needed to get black eyed peas, but I know at the beginning of the year, you're supposed to make black eyed peas. And what's interesting to me was he was saying that in his home country they have a very popular black eyed pea stew. And then when I got my greens, because I know I had to make a pot of greens as well, he was like, "Oh, this is very interesting because it's similar to a vegetable that we use for our stew as well." And he told me he'll start getting some collard greens as well when he cooked because he misses a dish that we had. So I was thinking, "Oh, that's interesting. Maybe some of these superstitions actually came from the country of Ghana." Because I know we talked about last month, like a lot of people that are black came from Africa, of course, and you know, we probably carried on some of those traditions throughout when we were assimilated to America, but I just want to know sometimes where are these superstitions coming from? Because I know often I have to call mom and be like, hey, which way do I need to place my bed when I'm trying to set up like a new place? I know you can't lay it to the west because of that superstition. And then I know also I can't wash my clothes on the first. And that's something about watching somebody out of your life. I didn't really know too much about it, but I have to ask my mom because she has a lot of the superstitions that she knows about because of her mom. And then when I brought my significant other with my grandparents to church, that was his first time coming to my grandparents' house. My grandma was like, okay, you can't come through to the garage because this is your first time here. You gotta come out the way it came in. I'm like, Grandma, what are you talking about? I didn't even know that one at all. I'm so glad most of the time where I live, I only have one door because I have not been thinking like, okay, this is a man, he has to come back through the way that he came in. So now that I know that, I'm trying to keep it in mind. But what is some of the superstitions that you know, Mom?
Well, most of the ones you name, and listening to you talk, so you believe in them.
Um, well, I know that grandma has a strong conviction, so most of the time, the reason why I'm doing it is because of grandma. It's not necessarily that I believe in them, but I know I've never bought a man's. I bought my brother's shoes before, but I've never bought a man that I dated shoes. But now that I think about it, a lot of them I've walked out of their life, so does it really matter? I don't know. And I also have not bought a man a watch due to that. If you buy him a watch, your time will run up. So I kind of listen to them a little bit, but I also because it's like, well, those gifts are kinda expensive, so I'm thinking maybe I should wait till I marry somebody to buy them those gifts as well. So I'm kinda halfway in, halfway out, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Um, I don't know. I don't know how much I really believe them. I think I
Yeah,
just do it because
yeah.
my mom said so. Some of them I don't do. Like
Mhm.
on New Year's, I'm not frantically running around looking for any food.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna cook greens or black eyed peas if unless I was already gonna do it. Um, After 2020,
He was not going
I don't
through
think
it,
it
so
matters what we eat in the new year because 2020 showed us that that year is gonna year no matter what, and 2020
Mhm.
was quite a year. Um, but things like splitting a pole, I mean, if I see somebody about to split a pole with me, I'll walk around the other way so we don't split it.
Right.
Um, and then a lot of the kids say, if you step on a crack, you'll break your mama's back, that kind of craziness. I
Mhm.
don't know that I believe any of them actually. I mean, I do put an X on the window if a black cat crossed the road when I'm driving, but that's because I just saw my mama do it. I don't really do it because I think it probably it's just kinda just like doing the same thing. I don't wash clothes on the New Year, but I don't know. I think somebody washed clothes on the New Year, somebody in their family died, that became a superstition. I just don't know that it's really true. I don't think it is at all, actually. It's kinda how I feel about conspiracy theories, like, sometimes things unrelatable just happen at the same time. But,
Mhm.
I was looking at, some information about superstitions, and I ran across where an American psychologist named Stuart Vise has several publications and some notable, award-winning I don't even know what I'm trying to say, award-winning publications
Yeah.
about, superstitions, and he attributes superstitions to the same thing I said about conspiracy theories. Is people trying to have some measure of control over events that's happening in their lives, and attribution theory, we attribute this to this,
Mhm.
and so when I
Confirmation
was looking
bias too.
yeah, and when I was looking at his work, he was just basically saying, sometimes with and especially with the way the media is today, it's even easier to come up with different superstitions and just like we said with conspiracy theories, because there's so much fake news out there.
Mhm.
You just go to attributing things to unrelatable events. And his family is a Protestant family, so they didn't really believe in superstition coming up, but because he was a psychologist studying human behavior, he spent a lot of time just trying to see, why are people believing in these superstitions, and what's causing such I guess like me, why do I do it just because my mama did it even if I don't believe it? And
Yeah.
so just looking at that, it was just kind of interesting, and to me, it related real closely to what we said about conspiracy theories.
Yeah. I think for me, like I said, it is more so tradition now. If you've been doing it for so long, it is ingrained in you to go ahead and do it. There's some things that I think I'm gonna start like, I think I'll eventually buy, my husband a watch. I think I'll eventually buy my husband some shoes. But when you think about it, it does make sense not to really buy a boyfriend or a regular person that you're just dating. That is an investment that you don't necessarily need to jump all in until y'all are very serious. So I low key like that one a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. But what I was thinking about, I had another approach about where the traditions or the superstitions actually came from. So I know like a lot of the superstitions are within the Black community. I know that when talking to white people, they don't really have it strongly in their communities. And I also know a lot of Black people are the ones who are basically studying or their religion is also voodoo and hoodoo. A lot of hoodoo and voodoo religion basically has some of these superstitions as well. And when we were watching Sinners, if anybody remember that movie, you could see that uh one of the main characters, Annie, she was that her name? I'm thinking,
It's been a while. I don't really remember, but that sounds
yeah,
right.
Smoke. I think it was Smoke and Annie.
Smoke
Maybe
and Stag was the 2.
two twins, but I know Smoke
Were they
was
twins or cousins?
they were twins. No, they were just joking with that man who said that.
Oh,
But they were
okay.
definitely twins. And then I think Annie was the hoodoo priestess that had a lot of, different formulas and practices and medicines, and she had things that she would give people for good luck, for good measure. She was the one that knew about um, these were vampires. She had the most information and was the most knowledgeable about this. And a lot of the things she was saying was considered superstitions. So that's kind of where I think about it. Okay, some of these are traditions and superstitions passed down through like traditional and native religions that are in the Black community. And that's why I also think some of it has come through slavery from Africa to the Americas. And a lot of times I know that we don't have a strong sense of where we came from. Because some people have Native American backgrounds, some people have the Tano people backgrounds, and then some people have Black backgrounds. But I also think about how, like, in certain parts of coastal Georgia, there's the Geechee people, and they have a lot of superstitions and traditions that they kind of have still established even being here in America and even with things being, passed down in history and lost in history. So there's no telling what other superstitions there are that we don't really know about, but a lot of them have strongly come through for years and years over time. So that's kind of how I've been thinking about it, of the different cultures that we also are introduced to and how we mixed our cultures and we learn these practices. Even though we have a strong religious background in Christianity, we did not lose the superstitions, we did not lose the traditions, and some of this is mixing in a little bit of witchcraft too, because honestly, the only one that can control this is God, but some of these are like, from that as well.
Well, like I said, I don't necessarily subscribe to superstitions.
Mhm.
One thing that Stuart Weiss did say, the psychologist that I was talking about, he did say that people are more willing nowadays even to believe in superstitions than before because of
Okay.
the amount of false information that floats around and circulates on the internet.
Right,
It causes people to believe, and just like we said with conspiracy theories, I think it causes people to believe in those things a little bit more. But what it will do also is take away some of people's critical thinking
right,
abilities. And so sometimes you think about, okay, these things are very unrelated. Why in the world would I attribute this to this? And
right,
so not really critically thinking about, this is unrelated and this has nothing to do with this, but I'm gonna do it anyway just because I saw my mama do it. So
right.
that's kind of I think how superstitions really play out. You saw somebody in your family do it or talk about it or believe in it, and then you just do it, whether you believe it's actually. But now life and death is in the power of the tongue. So we have to, watch what we say and what we attribute to things happening. I don't know that there's good luck and bad luck, and that's a whole nother topic. But I don't know that it's luck. It's just life. And then once it happens, bouncing back or going and excelling from a situation, whether good or bad. So that's my take.
I do think there is a little bit of luck, but I do think most things happen because they're gonna happen. We talk about this thing called spontaneous order at work, and that's just people go into basically when something happens, when something occurs, people just move accordingly. And that's kind of how life is. You're reacting. You can somewhat control certain things. You can control who is in your life. You can control what you spend your time doing. You can control what you believe in and what you support.
Yeah, some of it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, really. I
Right.
mean, if you will it to be so, then it's so.
Right,
And
manifestation, and
right.
that in my opinion, that is a superstition because the fact that you think, "Oh, if I think about it, if I believe in it, if I pray about it, it will happen." When in reality, we are not control of our destiny, it is in God's will, and sometimes I think things are already written, especially when you feel like you've done all that you can do and it's still not happening. To me, it's, "Okay, well, God is not wanting this in my life." So that's where the superstitions kind of stop for me because I I'm not too keen on the manifestation thing. I pray, of course. I pray. I ask God, this is what I want, but I don't think if I say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I know I can, this is gonna happen. I don't think making a mood board is gonna make my goals come true.
No.
Really don't. I think about organizing my goals. I think about writing them down, and I think about actually doing actions to complete the goal. But if the goal still doesn't happen, I don't think I can manifest it. That's
Well,
just where it stops for me.
and I don't think the self-fulfilling prophecy is actually the same thing as manifestation because let me give you an example of what I mean. So, if you tell a child from day one, "You're bad, you're just bad, you're just bad," and then the child end up being bad, Like,
Right.
you have spent all that time trying to make that child feel like he's a bad child, and
Right.
then that child acts out as a bad child, and therefore it's a fulf it it came to be because you willed it to be. But if, a child who is acting out, "You are a good child, and this is the things that we're gonna do." No, you are a great kid, and here's what is gonna happen in your life. Then that child and it's like somebody believing in somebody even, like a teacher believing in a student or a doctor believing that a patient can, turn things around and get well. Just having somebody believe in you, then you start doing the right things. And that's where that critical thinking kicks in. Because what is it that I need to be doing to change this situation? Um,
Mhm.
if somebody says you're going to be poor your whole life, and then you decide that no, I don't subscribe to that, or you do subscribe to that, then you start doing things that's going to keep you poor. Like, it's
Right.
not because it's manifestation, but it's because your mindset, you didn't go do the things that would cause you to not fall into that rut, that trap,
Well,
that whatever. And so it becomes what we call in education a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it was spoken into your spirit so much that you didn't critically do the things that would keep that from happening. And some people level up and be like, "I'll show you better than I can tell you." And they do the opposite. And that's
right.
rare, but it does happen.
But that's what I'm saying, like, words can only go so far, and that's
You
what
gotta
I
have
mean.
actions.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that if I do the actions, if I complete the actions, and it's still not happening, then it wasn't meant to be. That's what I mean.
Absolutely.
You cannot
Absolutely.
face what's not meant to be for you.
Right.
It's
But when I
not
say
something to do.
self-fulfilling prophecy, I don't mean manifestation.
Yeah. Oh, I'm saying
Yeah.
I agree with that. I'm just telling you about the to me, in my opinion, one of the new age things that people have come up with, which is manifestation, it is somewhat of a superstition in my opinion, because it becomes like, oh, well, I can just manifest anything into my life. And that's just not true. What's meant for you will be meant to be. What's not meant for you will not be meant to be. And you have to kind of be okay with that too. Of course, we want everything that we want, but everything that we want is not for us. And that's what I mean. Like, that is just a superstition that has been like more of a new age thing. People think they can manifest anything in their life, and you cannot. That's just not, that doesn't make sense. That's one of the ones that really do not make any sense to me at all. Now, the ones that I would say that do make kind of sense, I understand the not resting the way the dead does. It's not necessarily thinking I'm gonna put myself to sleep forever, but it makes sense to not want to do that. That one isn't too crazy in my opinion. And like I was saying, like buying somebody that you're not necessarily in a relationship. Well, you are in a relationship, but y'all are still more so growing and getting to know each other and trying to decide, will this be long term? Will this, because I'm thinking about the different relationships I was in. Would it make sense to be buying somebody all the things that you really did and it really doesn't pan out to be something that it was supposed to be? No, that don't mean you can't buy any gifts, but there's other gifts to buy than a watch and shoes. So I kind of get that one. But and I don't necessarily say that I'm gonna get a lot of money just because I put greens on the stove at the beginning of the year. But hey, it's not a bad meal to eat a pot of greens. Black eyed peas are pretty good too. And usually I pair it with fish. So to me, that's a great New Year's meal. So I actually indulge in that one every year as well. So those are the three that I kind of tap into for sure. And, shout out to grandma. She is the one that keeps us up to date on these superstitions. I think I should have probably talked to her and asked her about more that she knows that she believes in. She would have been a great person to kind of tell us why these things come to light.
I would encourage our listening audience to speak life. Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
So you yeah, watch what you say.
Mhm.
And even what you think. Positive outcomes only come from positive behaviors. But critical thinking is critical. So make sure, you don't allow conspiracy theories and superstitions to control your behaviors, because your
Right.
behaviors can create a certain outcome.
Right. It's kind of like when Zodiacs too. It's fun until you go too far with it. It can't control your life. It can't be the end all be all. Like, I respect those who practice hoodoo and voodoo. That is their religion. I wouldn't want them to disrespect my religion. And if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. But I don't necessarily think like it can control my life and what I believe in. So,
Yeah, I don't like it.
I mean, it's it's
I don't
people's
like
religion. It's people's religion. A lot of people just assume that it's just about witchcraft, but it's actually a full-blown religion that they practice. Kinda similar to what we practice, but in a different methods. So, sure, hey, everybody has the right to believe in what they believe in. Just I think hopefully people use it for good and not for evil. That's what I can say about that. So,
Okay.
yeah. Is there any superstitions that you think are just interesting or that you would, I don't know, maybe that's true or wait, that don't make any sense.
No, I don't really believe him. I just like I said, I just do it because we do it.
No, I mean like what's the one that kind of makes sense to you the most? And then what's the one that's like, no, that makes no sense.
Uh, hmm. None of them really make any sense to me at all, to be honest.
Okay.
I don't I think it's a whole bunch of coincidence. It's like somebody probably did this and then this happened. I mean, I don't know. They really don't make sense to me.
Okay.
I just think
Well,
we're
what's
just
one that you
attributing.
know that you think other people probably never heard of before? Like what's one that is kinda not so common to
I think
the
you said
general
them all
public?
when you were naming them all when you were talking at the beginning of the podcast. I think you said almost all of them that I know. I don't think I
Okay,
know any other ones.
okay.
Yeah. I just know the ones that grandma know, and so it sounds like you know them all too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I would have to ask her because I feel like there might be some more that she knows that she never said. Because 'cause I've never heard of, say, the one where have the man, uh, enter how exit how he enters. That was my
Mm-mm.
first time ever.
And Randy is usually the first person to come on New Year's. In fact, she says a male has to come to your house first. So yeah, I've heard her say that.
Did she say why that is, though?
All of it is about good luck and bad luck as far as I know.
Okay.
Um, except for like the foods you're talking about, like greens supposed to be about money and that kind of thing. But all of it is something bad to happen versus
Oh,
something good.
there is one that I don't know if she knows, but I got it from social media that they have this where women were eating grapes under the table because it would help them get a man.
Yeah, where's that critical thinking article again?
That was the first time I ever seen or heard that one. I did not know that one at all. But they were RL bring you good luck for romance. It's something along the lines. A lot of these have okay, one thing I learned I am hearing there's a common thing about these. A lot of these are misogynistic. They actually put men as like, you know, the good luck. Because why would a woman come into your house be bad luck first? And why is it that only a man has to enter and exit the same one? Like, it's kinda like putting men over anything. Cause it's like, it's not that you can't okay, well, I guess the one where you can don't buy shoes and don't buy a watch, it's not for women, it's because they want women to get the shoes and the watches, but not the man, I guess, I don't know. But a lot of these have a little bit of misogyny when I'm actually hearing it, cause I don't understand why they're putting men on a pedestal.
Well, I bought your dad a watch.
Yeah,
We're about to be married 30 years.
yeah.
We're willing.
Did you buy him one after y'all were married?
I can't remember if it was before or after. I think after though.
Yeah, I thought it was supposed to be.
I don't think I could have afforded it before. I think it was after.
Yeah, I said I think it's okay if you're married. I think it's when you're not married. But I don't know. I would have to ask grandma so she can
Yeah,
refresh.
I'm not as well versed. Like I said, I just do random stuff because she do
Yeah,
random stuff, but I don't believe in none of it to be honest. I mean,
yeah. So, well,
the
I
only
won't
thing
put.
like the only random things I do is like I don't wash clothes on New Year's
So
Day.
that's one that you really think. It's makes
Yeah,
sense.
I don't do it just 'cause she said
Yeah.
don't do it. And then
What
I don't split a pole. I can't even remember why not. I do the X when the cat go by. I'm not even I think that's got to do with bad luck. I've broken a mirror and I don't feel like I've had 7 years of bad luck. I mean,
yeah.
so I don't know.
Well I was gonna say the one I think is actually the best is to go into the house with go into the new year with a clean house. I think that's actually
Oh,
the best one.
absolutely.
Yeah, that one is
But
the
I
best.
feel like that for the new week, you know
Yeah,
me, I think you should go into the new week with a clean house. So,
yeah. So I think that's the best superstition. Something that we starting to do is pray at the first of the month, but I don't think that's necessarily superstition. I think that's just religion. So yeah, I will say the best thing about superstition is the Stevie Wonder song. That's really good. I wonder what he was talking about too.
yeah,
Yeah.
gotta go back and listen to that.
What do you
Mm.
mean?
Superstitions
Uh-huh.
by Stevie Wonder. I just said I gotta go back and listen to
Oh, you
that.
said you got it. Okay. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
yeah, I was
you
like,
were
wait.
saying you were wondering what he was talking about. I said, "Yeah, I gotta go back and
Yeah,
listen."
because he was like writing on the wall. So I'm just like,
Right.
what was the writing? Okay. Well, speaking of listening to, what are you listening to right now as far as music?
Alright. I don't want no beef with you, 50, but I've been listening to
Alright.
all the, the Harris kids. I've
Yeah.
been listening to, well, Damani, his
Yeah.
sound is
You
like J. Cole and Andre 3000 mixed together. Real
yeah.
smooth for such a young fella.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure in his early 20s probably,
I don't
if
think
that.
early 20s. I think he might be Daniel's age,
Oh,
25,
wow. Well,
26.
Daniel's 25, mid-20s then?
Yeah, he about to be 26. So I think that's
Okay.
his
Well,
age.
just a real smooth sound. He reminds me of Andre and J. Cole really kinda mixed together. I was listening to his rendition of Miss Jackson. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Real smooth sound. And then I didn't even know anything about Messiah doing kinda like that Jimi
Oh,
Hendrix,
Buddy Red, yeah,
Buddy Red,
I
yeah,
like
Buddy
his
Red.
music too, yes.
Yeah. So, shout out to the Harris kids. I mean, like I said, I don't want no beef with you, 50. I just like their sound. And they are coming pretty hard. I mean, yeah, they're beefing a different genre right now.
Yeah, I
But
think on
I probably wouldn't have heard a lot of it if it wasn't for that. So I'm listening to it. I think those kids are very talented.
I think only King and Damani dropped this record.
Yeah, well, oh no, Buddy Red said some stuff too about 2 quarters ain't nothing but 50 cent.
Oh, I didn't see that, yeah.
Oh, yeah. You know me and TikTok, you know I heard it.
Well, they try to make it seem like that's the only thing. They try to make it seem like, Hair Eris did something too, but
No,
her
she
video
been
was
did that. Yeah,
old.
that's why I didn't mention
Yeah,
her. She been sung that, kinda
yeah,
like passing the phone too. It was one of
yeah.
those type of things, yeah.
So, I was just like, "Let me make sure that is
Yeah, you
accurate."
have to do your research with the internet. You know how we talked about social media last week, and then, like I was just talking
About
about,
2 weeks ago.
superstitions being on the rise. It's just a lot of false information floating out there, and people readily believe it. So it
Yeah.
makes it kinda hard to parse facts and fiction. So, conspiracy theories, superstitions, all that's on the rise.
Yeah, I was listening to Miss Jackson too. That was one that was really good to me. I think he did a great job with that. Well, is there
Yeah.
anything you're watching?
Very neo soul type smooth sound, but rap, so
Yeah,
anyway.
it's like an introspective conversation between himself and 50 Cent's mother, so it's a different method for a diss record for sure, so
Yeah, for sure. Watching still watching Alex Cross, you know, they released that one episode 1 week at a time after the first 3, like, you get the first 3, and then it's one at a time. Same thing with Paradise. We watched the first 3. We might be on 4 on both of them, actually.
Oh,
I think,
Paradise came out already?
they do 3 at a like, they release the first 3, and then you have to watch it 1 week at a time after that.
No, I mean, like, the new season came out
Oh,
already.
uh-huh. Yeah, the new
Oh,
season is
dang,
out.
I
Yes,
did
yes.
not know that.
Mhm, lot of flashback, so you have to pay attention because yeah, they're building storylines right now. I mean, we got hit with what's going on in the first season, in real time, but now they're going back and building storylines, and so you could kinda see how things developed or whatever. So you gotta kinda pay attention to
Alright,
that.
well, that's something I need to check out. I actually been watching Gossip Girl lately. So that's I've been watching all of the older episodes. It's always funny to me, and it's cool to see how rich kids in New York lived, or a fictional version of it, but I'm sure it's pretty much going that way. Did you have it judging you?
I did. So this week's judging you, I actually was asked it a couple of weeks ago, but I needed some time to think about it and look at some stuff because I really wasn't as versed on the topic. But I was asked about starting a courier business in this economy. What's my thoughts? Is that something that I would advise that person to do or advise against? And I say go for it.
Starting
In
what?
a courier business. Courier.
Like, take
Like medical courier or somebody who picks up documents and takes it to another
Oh,
place or
okay.
pick you
That's
know
what I thought you meant, but okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think it's a great idea, especially with Uber and FedEx and, just the different ways people get things nowadays. So to me, couriering or being a courier probably is, just as um,
Lucrative.
financially sound, yeah, as and if you get a niche, like if you do lab work or if you do, taking people to doctor's appointments nowadays, I think if they have Medicaid or Medicare, it'll help pay for the transportation back and forth. So I don't think a courier business is a bad idea. We talked about hustle culture. I mean, if you can start it on the side and then it grow into something that you do full time, I say go for it. Even on the weekend when there's not as many people working, but paperwork or blood work or whatever needs to move, that might be a good time to kind of enter into the market. But get your niche. I would say do a little bit of research about how to get started. What's the best platform to use? How do you get connected with people who use those types of services? So just do a little bit of research there. Get you an LLC um, and a business license for the state of Georgia. And then you can use your own vehicle, and get started. But I would say, dig a little deep into what it takes to get a career business going. But I wouldn't say don't. I say go for it because, I mean, the economy ain't going to get any better. So I wouldn't wait for a new entry point. And a few weeks ago, we talked about the job market. Like, you never know with the way things are going and with the way companies are laying off. So it's not a bad idea to become an entrepreneur at this point. So that's my best advice. I have been even thinking of a new business myself. So I got to kind of give myself that same pep talk that I'm giving right now to the person
Yeah,
who asked me, go for it.
yeah. I would just advise them to make a business plan and see how much the overhead cost is gonna be, and can you actually support that financially for yourself.
Yeah, with medical current, it's low entry. It's just like kind of
Yeah,
like Uber, very low entry. Like you get into the job boards and see what's available and you using your gas in your vehicle. That's pretty and your own you gotta have car insurance anyway. So you have insurance if you have a good driving record, driver's license. That's a low entry point. The overhead is not very huge in a business like that. So that takes high overhead off the table. So there's really nothing stopping you other than time. Do you have time to do it? And I think if this person does work full time already, so and is off on the weekend, I think entering into weekend niche markets like I said, medical couriering, you still have people who have to go for emergency things and documents need to move, lab work need to move. So just thinking about getting a niche together and low entry on the weekend when you're off from your day job. And then if it gets busy and you can see where that could be a Monday through Friday thing, then you might consider moving into that full time. But I would say low entry,
yeah,
low overhead. So go for it.
yeah. Uh, with that though, I would just say just think of all the things that you need for the business, and if it's medical related, do you have to get anything special, like any licenses for that? Would you be violating any HIPAA laws? Just make sure you do your research, cause
Yeah. For courier, there is very low entry, not a lot of overhead, not a lot of things to do. The one
yeah,
thing you have to have is a valid driver's license. And then if there's some disclosure things you have to sign with that particular business, you would do that if you get the job. But like I said, go to a lot of those job boards because that's where it'll tell you, who's looking for somebody to come pick this up and take it here and take it there.
Yeah.
So couriering is, it's like Uber, very low entry. You just moving something from one place to the next.
Right.
So if that's my advice to them is to really just go for it because that is something that it's not costing you anything but gas.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoy this episode. If you have any superstitions that you've heard of and we didn't cover, let us know because we would love to hear about it. But have a great day and thank you for watching.
See you next time on We Listen and We Judge.